Today, I am so happy to be joined by Joni Rhodes. She is the proud purveyor of the Rescue Cafe in Fairhaven, and they're on a mission to help rescue cats. And they also serve, I would say, a unique variety of iced teas, which if y'all have not been there, I recommend that you stop in and have one of those for yourself. But without further ado, Joni, welcome to this podcast and tell us a little bit about the Rescue Cafe.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Joni Rhodes. I am the owner and the founder of the Rescue Cafe. We are a coffee shop located at 414 Main Street in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. I always tell people, look for the bright blue door. We're right on the corner. It is the cutest little coffee shop. We offer a variety of coffees, lattes. We do Hawaiian shaved ices, smoothies, lots of iced teas. I absolutely love iced tea. You have to try the butterfly strawberry lemon refresher. And yeah, we also have a nice retail space.
Awesome, awesome. I had the pleasure of stopping into your shop. I gotta say, it is a great little spot for a variety of reasons. But tell us what sets you apart from other coffee shops in the area.
Absolutely. So there are actually a couple of things that set us apart from other coffee shops. First of all, our slogan is coffee with a purpose. And our purpose is to give back to the local animal shelter community in our area. Another thing that definitely sets us apart from other places is the years of experience in the industry that we bring. I started working at my first restaurant in seventh grade. The school bus literally used to drop me off at my work, and I would work there till about 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And my dad would come and pick me up, and it's all I've ever done. I've been in the food industry ever since. When I moved to Massachusetts, I had the privilege of starting to work at a, you know, locally famous coffee shop where we even roasted our own beans. And the owner prided himself on teaching all of his employees as much about coffee as he possibly could. So, not only do we bring an awesome mission to the table, we bring years of experience in the food service industry. I have been a professional baker since I was 18 years old, and you can
Wow.
taste it in every bite of our delicious croissants and danishes. And another thing is we really like to be involved with our community, and we try to do as much of that as we can.
That's fantastic. You don't hear a lot about that, meaning the experience that owners bring. And I imagine that it sure shows when, people pick up your pastries and things like that. I have to imagine, although I'm going to get back there and pick up something myself, but you can tell when something is store-bought versus, homemade. And homemade is always better because there's just a little touch of love that's involved in it. So.
Absolutely.
Um, Now, what is one of the misconceptions that people have about your coffee shop?
Absolutely. So the number one biggest one is everybody thinks that we are a cat cafe. I hate to disappoint everybody. We are not a cat cafe. We are a mission driven coffee shop, and our mission is to help with the financial difficulties that shelters face with having a shelter. It's
Mhm.
like every animal has to eat every single day. Litter boxes have to be scooped every day. Everybody needs to see the vet. Some cases are drastic. The vet bill is huge. And I didn't want to come in and try to be another shelter, try to be another rescue when there are already so many in our area. I would rather help support the people who are already doing the work. And I hate it so much. People walk in and you can just see the disappointment when I tell them there are no cats there.
Mhm.
But I really do feel that our work and our mission with donating money is more important than just having cats at the cafe. Although we do have cats at the cafe sometimes. Another big misconception is people will come in and they're confused about whether or not the food is for animals or for humans. But I
Mm.
assure you, everything is for humans except for the little area over in our retail where we do actually sell a New Bedford based dog treat there.
Wow. It's interesting because although I could see why people would think you were a cat cafe, I'm not sure I ever would have pieced, like food, like, animal food there, but interesting,
Yes.
interesting.
People are wild. You know how it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you mentioned just a little bit ago about your community involvement and your passion for 100% giving back to the community that you serve. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. When I was first starting the business, I needed to bridge the gap between, asking for my local community to support me and doing something that deserves me to be supported. Because I don't feel just having a business and being local is all the reason why somebody should come and support you. So I definitely wanted to use the cafe as an opportunity to have a voice in the community, but not a voice necessarily to make change or do things like that, but to become a part of a community. I
Mhm.
moved here from Arizona 12 years ago. And when I moved here, I didn't know anyone at all whatsoever. I do not have any family that lives out here, and it really has been a way for us to like put in some roots and settle into being a part of the community, and I absolutely love it. I love when we can go out and do events. Every year we participate in the town hall's Halloween party, which is an
Mhm.
absolute blast. It is a party up in there, Fairhaven Town Hall. Mark your calendars for Halloween. It is such a good time. We are also doing a lot of events this summer, like Harborfest, which is going on down at the beach in Fairhaven, and it's put on through the economic department in Fairhaven. And there's going to be over 70 vendors there, and it's just, shaved ices down at the beach for the kids. We really can't wait. We are also the first people to throw out a gift certificate if anybody needs one, for an event that they're hosting for a fundraiser. Every year we collect Christmas cards. This may seem like a funny community building thing, but hear me out. We collect Christmas cards from anyone that wants to, holiday cards, anyone that wants to send them to us, and we put them all up around the cafe, and it's just such a beautiful, representation of our community within the cafe. We also host Save a Cat Sunday, which is when shelters can come into the cafe. We also host a variety of artists at the cafe, pop ups in the front room all the time. If any local artist or vendor wants to set up for a Saturday and sell, they can. Uh,
Mhm.
Pretty much, if anyone needs anything, we're there. If there's a fun event going on, sign us
Mhm.
up. We really like to be involved.
That's awesome. And Fairhaven in particular, I can't think of a better community to do that. It's small enough where for sure you could get the word out that, hey, you need to get down there and support the Rescue Cafe because they're very much involved. They're everywhere. They're doing a lot of things. But it's big enough where as folks support you, you can then contribute back in a substantial way, which I think is just great. And hats off to you for coming from someplace, clear across the country, moving yourself into a community where you know no one, and then really just trying to get those roots as deep as possible into the community. So, for sure, you're 100% to be celebrated for that because that's not easy for sure.
It was a haul, let me tell you. And I had my not yet 2-year old kid in the back seat of my car while we were driving across the country to move to Massachusetts. And yeah, there is one thing to be said about moving clear across the country is you can completely reinvent yourself.
Hmm.
So that part of it was nice. It was a journey. Yeah, definitely. I don't think the cafe would have ever existed if I wouldn't have moved across the country, because it taught me a lot about like self-reliance, and courage and confidence, and those are all things that you need to be a business owner. So I'm very grateful for the decision to pack it all up and move 3,000 miles away.
Yeah, for sure. Being a small business owner or being a business owner, period, is not for the faint at heart. But I think one-upped a lot of us in the community that have small businesses, because it's one thing to establish yourself in a community where you've grown up, you've been, you've raised your kids and you're already settled. But for you to say, you know what, I think I'm going to start my journey 3,000 miles away from everything that I already knew is really quite a remarkable story and a testament to you. So,
And
uh,
let me tell you, it definitely showed. Our opening day, because I didn't have any friends and family. I had been living in Massachusetts for a long time before I opened the cafe, but I lived on Cape. And when I moved to Acushnet is when I opened the cafe. And I had been, living and working down on Cape. I had made some friends and stuff, but when I moved to the South Coast, I started over yet again in that regards of not having any friends. And
mhm.
on our opening day, I didn't have anybody that was like, I'm going to come and support you because it's your opening day. And we started as a food truck in Acushnet. And I sat there for 2.5 hours without a single customer. And I went home that day and I bawled my eyes out because I was like, this isn't going to work. It's not going to happen. And we just kept coming back every day, and so did everybody else. And then, things just kind of snowballed. And when we moved into Fairhaven, luckily we did have a following, so that was a little bit easier that time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what a testament to perseverance, because I believe that you shared with me during one of our conversations that that level of perseverance has given you the opportunity to donate $12,000 thus far to one of the local rescues. So, I mean, that's
Yes.
off to you.
Every single month, we donate a portion of our sales to Care South Coast, which is a Cushnet's local animal shelter. They don't get any funding from the state, the government, to anyone at all. It all comes from people who donate money to them. And they have a large facility with a lot of cats and a lot of high medical bills. And they don't give up on anyone. They don't give up on any of their animals. The woman who runs the place, like, that's her, like, cornerstone of her mission. And that's
Mhm.
why we picked them. I really do believe in the work that they do. And then another person that we donate to every month is the shelter that comes in for Save a Cat Sunday. Save a Cat Sunday is an event that takes place on Sundays, and it's open for any local legally licensed shelter that would like to come in and bring a couple of cats that they have available for adoption. It really gives them an opportunity to bring attention to their rescue, bring attention to the animals that they have available for adoption. And it gives people an opportunity to come in and speak to them, sign up to volunteer, learn more about what they can do to help the shelter. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's a little bit more of an intimate setting to meet an animal than at a shelter who may not actually be able to come out of their cage due to various reasons. Whereas you can sit with a coffee and, a feather toy and play with the cat and sign up to adopt. So we also do donate to them every single time they come. We do have lots of Sundays that are open. I know shelters have a very difficult time with not having enough volunteers and resources, but we are welcoming new shelters at any time if they would like to participate in Save a Cat Sunday.
So, and what a beautiful partnership that you're offering to shelters in the community, because kennel stress is really a thing. And you sort of associate that a little bit more obviously with dogs because they're in the kennels.
Right.
But, cats are in cages oftentimes. Not every facility has these beautiful floor to ceiling catios. So it does give them an opportunity to get cats out into a different environment. You'd be surprised how their temperament and their personality changes as well once you kind of get them out of the stress of that shelter environment.
I have to share this, a testament to what you just said. There was a woman who she brought in one of the cats that is always in a cage, and the cat was at the cafe. And about 2 hours into the event, she's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "She's making biscuits." The whole time they've had that cat, they've never seen that cat make biscuits once. But it was finally in an environment where it was relaxed because cats only make biscuits when they're happy, the little
Hmm.
need. And so, I almost cried because I'm like, "Oh, this is beautiful." But yes, they really do. It is a totally more relaxed environment.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, for the shelters that want to participate or are intrigued by this idea, what are the hours that you typically host a shelter on a Sunday, and how do they get in touch with you to sign up for that?
Absolutely. So one thing I always tell everybody in regards to Save a Cat Sunday is we work around the shelter schedule. So whatever works for them, we make it work for us. When Hearts for Paws comes in once a month, they always come in from 10 a.m. till we close at 2 p.m. But
Okay.
again, if a shelter could only come for an hour, come for 2 hours, wanted to be there all day, we would do anything to accommodate their schedule.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's great that you're willing to be so flexible because, as you mentioned, a lot of these shelters are mostly staffed by volunteers. So, and Sundays are oftentimes, a family day, it's a food prep day, it's a get ready for the next weekday. So I think it's great that, you're not so rigid to say, well, you need to be here for 4 hours or 5 hours or whatever it is. The fact that you're willing to even accommodate them for an hour just to try to help get one more cat out of a shelter, I think is fantastic.
And it's a true testament to the volunteers who come in because, like you said, Sunday is a day where people are doing a lot of those things, but their passion and their commitment to what they are doing, they're willing to set aside because they're with us for 4 hours. They have to pick up the cats,
Hmm.
the cat's back, so it's probably actually closer to a 6 or 7 hour day for some of them.
Hmm.
It's just absolutely incredible that they are willing to do it at all. It's a beautiful partnership. It really is a very nice day. We love Save a Cat Sunday. If any shelters are interested, they can email me at therescuecafe@gmail.com or shoot me a message on any of our social medias. Once we have a date set for Save a Cat Sunday, we make a flyer, we share it on our social medias, we talk to customers. People ask me all the time when they come in, when's the next Save a Cat Sunday? So it is definitely something that people really look forward to.
Yeah. And it's great because literally you have a built-in advertising platform for those shelters. You have people coming into your shop every day
Yeah.
buying their treats, buying their iced coffees, buying their lattes, buying whatever it is that they, choose to drink and eat. And what an amazing opportunity to say, hey, in 2 weeks we're hosting X shelter and they're going to have 6 cats with them.
And we also use that revolving door of customers that are coming in to buy our food and beverages to highlight some local artists in the area.
Hmm.
A month at the cafe, I have two different tables that we rent out to different local artists and artisans. It's hard when you have to go to events and you have to pop up for one day. You have to man your table the whole time. You have to tear it down, load it home.
Hmm.
It is so much work, but it's also maybe just a passion project and not something that you want to have a brick and mortar for. So it really is a nice opportunity for people to be set up for 30 days. We do a commission based split so that way you don't have to worry about, if you didn't sell a bunch of stuff, having to pay a certain amount of money to cover your rental spot for the month. And it gets you that access for somebody's just popping in for a latte and they look over, see something, and they're like, oh, it is my coworker's birthday today. They would love that. A lot of that kind of stuff happens. And it's been wonderful. We've probably hosted over 30 different local artists and crafters in the 2 years that we've been at the cafe. And it's awesome because every month when you come in, the cafe kind of looks different because we have two different retail areas. So it keeps everything fresh. Another community building event. Sometimes people come into the cafe for the first time ever because they're shopping a vendor that say they follow on Facebook and they're like, oh, they have a whole display set up this month at the cafe. So they're coming in to support that artist and then they're like, oh, I'll try a coffee while I'm here. So it really is, it's a win-win for everybody involved. It has been awesome and I've got to meet even more people in the community on a great level as well.
Hmm. And the artisans, I might add that the artisans that you have in your shop, there's a pretty wide variety of artisans in there too. I mean, when I stopped in, for example, there's one of your artisans does really cute crocheted animals. And then, two tables over, there's someone selling antique goods too. So there's something for everyone, which I think is great.
Yeah, it really is a lot of fun. We also have over in our retail area, I mentioned it briefly, we sell Wolf and Bear dog treats, and they are a New Bedford based company that makes single ingredient dog treats, which is awesome. We sell a ton of them. Everyone loves being able to have access to them. We also sell another local company called Union Java. They use the cafe as a commissary kitchen to make their drink, the Nor'easter, and we also sell it there as well. In the cooler months, we sell Lauren's sweet apples. They're the best caramel apples you've ever had before, period. We all of our retail stuff, our hoodies and our shirts, we all get made locally in a Acushnet by Stuck on You Design. We just try really hard. If we can get it made locally, we do. And if there is someone local who's selling something that lines up with what we're doing, we try to have them in the cafe. Once again, it's just all about, supporting that community and trying to keep things in the South Coast.
Yeah, what an amazing network of relationships that you have managed to build over such a short period of time. I
It's
mean,
a lot of
2 years sounds like a lot, but it goes by really quick. And it sounds like you're also, you're matching your cafe with the seasons, if you will. You have the apples in the fall and, the specialized coffee in the fall, and people just love that stuff. People love the change up.
Oh yeah, and the shaved ices in the summertime. Woof, we sell so many shaved ices in the summer. As a kid growing up in Arizona, we had shaved ice places all over the place. And then I moved to Massachusetts, and I was just like, what? Where's the shaved ice?
Yeah, we don't have it here.
Yeah, when I was opening the cafe, that was an absolute necessity. Have to bring shaved ice to the South Coast.
Yeah. That's it's great. And I just think I'm learning so much more about your business than and I will say whatever people think on the surface, clearly you're demonstrating that you're so much more than that. And your willingness to partner with other people, I think it's just it's you don't see that often. And again, I think it's just a testament to your want to really be ingrained in the community. So,
I really believe in collaborate over compete. I feel like there's enough room for everybody, you know what I mean? And there is no reason to not. We're always stronger together than we ever will be divided. You know what I And even in the fact that we donate stuff and give so much away, I've always said that everything that we have ever given away, we have gotten back in some form of another, whether it be like this, you asking me to do this podcast because of our involvement with that, or it be, people who come in and support our coffee shop over someone else's just because we donate back. Like, I just always feel people need to be less afraid to give. You know what I mean? Because it's
mhm.
amazing what happens when you open yourself up. Things come your way, and it's like when you stay closed off, that's exactly how you stay. You know what I mean?
And you have the space. I mean, your shop is so much larger. It's a bit deceiving from the
Yes,
outside. I mean, I
it is.
love the blue door. I think that's for sure that's a trademark on Main Street. But it's very unassuming from the outside. I never imagined that you had the space that you have in your location until I walked in. I said, "Holy smokes, this is so much bigger than I thought it was going to be."
People always think the back lounge room is my living room and that we live back there. And I'm like, no, 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 that's just couches for you to sit and be comfortable. Like, pretend you're at your friend's living room and just hang out and have coffee. That's definitely the vibe. Actually, one time a customer told us, they were like, this place is like going to your modern grandma's house. And they're like, but I mean that in the best way humanly possible. And I've always loved that. I'm like, we're like your modern grandmas. Everybody loves going to grandma's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we also have delicious coffee. All of our coffee is imported from Italy. We use a company called Bristol, In addition to that, we have, very nice equipment. Once again, I have been in the coffee industry for many, many years. When I was
Mhm.
setting up the cafe, we definitely spared no expense with the equipment that makes all of our coffee and the coffee that we use. I also am a big advocate in cleaning the coffee machines because better tasting coffee comes from clean machines, as
Mhm.
in addition to having like some secret tricks with some water filters and stuff, because you have to start with a good quality water, add it
Mhm.
to a good quality coffee through a nice clean machine to get a good finished product. And I really feel like people can tell the difference. We last year won the best coffee shop in the South Coast from the South Coast.
Really?
Yes, we came in first place. And then for the best of the best, we did come in as one of the top three finalists for bakery and for coffee shop. And now, mind you, we started all this off in a food truck in 2021 in a Acushnet. And in 2024, we were winning best coffee shop in the South Coast. So I will give a little horn toot for that one right there.
Yeah, I mean, that deserves to be applauded tenfold because there are coffee shops and other places that have been on the South Coast for, 10 times longer than you have and have not managed to be recognized in that way. So, congratulations on that.
Thank
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was I was shocked. Like when she called me on the phone and told me, I was just like, "Wait, who? Where? Us first?" And she was like, "Yup." And so, yeah, I was over the moon, over the moon, over the moon.
Yeah. And as you should be, because I mean, people have to, dare I say, take valuable time out of their day to nominate you for that. So,
Right.
and not everybody does it. I mean, for crying out loud, think about the feat it takes for somebody to write a review for a good experience. The fact that you have a group of people that not went on probably every day or every other day to say Rescue Cafe is where it's at, is really quite something. So,
It was really cool.
yeah. All right. On to this is the fun part that I
Ooh,
always like to participate in with my guests because it is an opportunity for folks to learn a little bit more about you outside of what you do and what you are most passionate about. It is called our rapid fire round.
I'm excited.
And so really the way this will work is I'm going to give you two choices, and whichever of the choices speaks most to you, just shout out that answer, and we'll learn a thing or two about about you. So,
Love it.
all right, sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise because I'd never be awake late enough for the sunset.
Especially not in the summer because the sun sets at like 9 p.m.
I have probably seen every sunrise for the last 10 years.
And they're beautiful.
They're
They are
beautiful.
beautiful, I will say. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay, okay. Drama or comedy?
Ooh, comedy. We need more laughter in the world for sure.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Uh, Guacamole or hummus?
Oh, guacamole. I'm from Arizona.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
you might be my new favorite person.
Oh man. When I always say my death row meal, if I'm ever unfortunate enough to be in that situation, chips and salsa and guacamole. That's my death row meal.
Yeah. I'm not embarrassed to say that I may or may not occasionally eat it just like on a
As
spoon.
good as you should. It's a good fat. It's good and healthy.
Um, Onion rings or French fries?
French fries.
Uh, Road trip or beach vacation?
Road trip. And let me tell you, I have done some serious road tripping in my life. When I was a little kid, my grandparents used to load us up in the motorhome and we would go from Arizona to Massachusetts, from Massachusetts back to Arizona. And I've driven across country a numerous amount of times.
That is on my retirement plan, and I am slightly envious that you've had the opportunity to do it before I have. So,
No, it's kind of one of those things though. It was a little lost on me because I was so young.
yeah.
And when I was like 12, 13, I was like a little turd nugget, you know what I mean? And it's just like, man, complaining about everything. I wish I could turn back time. Maybe we'll do it together. We will road trip together across the country. We'll stop at all the parks. It'll be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm dying to do Route 66 and the Southwest. Like
Yeah,
all of those parks. I've been to Arizona, but I didn't stay nearly long enough, so I need to get back down there. So,
I love it.
and last but certainly not least, trivia night or karaoke?
Karaoke, but I'm bad at both of those things. I always tell people if you need the most useless member possible on a trivia team, invite me. And that's like it.
Yeah, I cannot carry a tune in a bucket, although I am a Grammy award-winning artist in the car, but nobody is recognizing my efforts at all. So, all right. Tell us a little bit about, do you have any promos that are happening at the cafe right now that you'd like to share with anyone that might be listening?
We are doing a lot of fun stuff this summer. I briefly touched on it earlier that the Fairhaven Economic Department is doing a series of events down at Fort Phoenix called Harbor Fest. Um,
Hmm.
there's going to be about, I believe the number I heard was like 70 different vendors down there, including a couple of food people besides just us. And there's so much more than just that going on. There's like, I saw somebody's going to be like teaching kids like fly fishing lessons. Once the sun goes down, there's going to be a showing of Jaws. They actually prepaid for some activities so that kids can do them for free. So there's just going to be like so much stuff going on. We're going to be down there with the shaved ice machine, which shaved ices at the beach are like a whole nother level. I'm very excited to be a part of it. We will also be doing some events at Livesey Park. There will be some craft fairs going on down there, and we will be attending some of those. If you would like to follow the different events that we have going on, we always make a lot of posts on our social media. Our Instagram and our Facebook are both at Rescue Cafe. No the on our thing. Someone else was using it. So it's just at Rescue Cafe. And then, always keep your eyes peeled. Save a Cat Sunday. Sometime we only know like a couple of days before they're coming. So we don't have as much time to promote it. But yeah, and we'll be dropping lots of fun frozen drinks. Right now, we're actually doing a frozen matcha. Next month we have a frozen lemonade that is going on our specials menu. And anytime, always, any of our lattes can be turned into frozen lattes. So yeah, summertime's always a lot of fun at the cafe.
And you shared with me, by the way, I might go to the screening of Jaws just to try out the special beverage that you have, come up with for that event. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so we're doing a special shaved ice. It is a mixture of blue raspberry and pineapple, and when the colors mix, it kind of looks like ocean water. And then we have some gummy sharks to put in there that'll look like they're swimming through it, and that's going to be our Jaws shaved ice. It's so good. It's one of our best flavors, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
That combination of flavor sounds amazing. But then even just to have a drink that is beautiful to look at is sort of an extra
Oh,
bonus.
and when
So
the sunlight hits the cup, oof, it's going to be picture perfect. I have to remember to take pictures. That's always the hardest thing. We're always so busy and there's so much going on. Sometimes it's hard to, capture moments and do things because we we run everything on a real small crew. This business is ran by me. There is no team. I have a couple employees. That's not what I mean. But like it is just me at the top of it. We don't have a social media manager. We don't have any other thing. We have the same three employees that we've had since the day that we've opened, and I'm very proud of that. Michelle and Savannah are the absolute best baristas on the South Coast. And then our third employee is my daughter, Lily. She has been working since she is 13 years old. God bless that kid. And she will be at the beach with me. And she's the best shaved ice maker you could possibly imagine. But we have a real small crew. So everything we do it to the best of our ability. We will grow when we think we're ready to grow and when it's appropriate to grow. But for right now, we're still managing to do it with just us. So that's how we're going to keep it for a while.
Yeah, well, you are for sure a small and mighty team.
Yes.
Can't
Yes.
take that away from you. Can't take that away from you. Final thoughts. Any parting remarks that you would like to share with anybody that might be tuned in and listening?
Yeah. You know, I if you've been wanting to do something, if you've been wanting to start something, be it a business, a hobby, a craft, a new sport, a new whatever, you should just give it a try. You know what I mean? Like really just shoot your shot and just try. People asked me a lot when I was starting the business, like, what happens if you fail? And it's like, okay, well, what happens if I succeed? You know what I mean? I changed my whole life. I gave a better future for my daughter, a brighter Fairhaven for our community. And if I fail, then I just go back to doing what I was doing, which is working a regular job. Like, I mean, it's just
Mhm.
people are so afraid of failure, and it's like, it's okay to fail.
Mhm.
And it's okay to try things. And I just really feel like you just got to believe in yourself. One of the best pieces of advice that anyone ever gave me, I actually have two of them. One of them was from my old employer, Kathy, and she told me, I'm going to cry. You already have everything you need inside of yourself. The thing that prevents us from doing things is a lack of confidence, listening to other people, letting other people talk you out of things, poor planning, things of that nature. But if you decide you want to do something, you have everything you need to do already inside of you. And one of the other best pieces of advice I ever got was from my mother, who told me that all in life is timing. And I waited and waited and saved for years before I opened the business. And the chaos of COVID happened. And, they were given checks out for people, and I just kept tucking those away, tucking those away. And then one day there was a food truck for sale in Acushnet, in the town I lived in. There was a food truck for sale that I could afford. And I was like, well, here we are. Like, I wasn't even planning on opening the business.
Mhm.
I was like scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, and there it was. And I was just like, all right, here it is. It's time. Let's go. Um,
Mhm.
so, yeah, don't force things. If things are not lining up, it's because it is not the right time. But when your opportunity comes knocking, you need to seize the moment.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's the mic drop. Boop.
And I couldn't have said it better myself. I was talking with someone, it was a coach of mine recently, and I said, we as adults, I think, overuse the phrase, it's complicated.
Mm,
And things aren't complicated, really. We paralyze ourselves with what if, what if, what if, as if decisions we make in life are permanent.
right.
And so few decisions that we make are actually permanent. And if you look ahead and read some of the interviews that have been done with people, as terrible as it sounds, people that are on their deathbed, they're filled with so much regret because they didn't do X, Y, or Z. They didn't chase the dream. They didn't open, the coffee shop. They didn't write the book. They didn't do whatever it is. Um, so your advice of, just go for it and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then you just go do something else. You just make another decision
Yep.
and go get a job or go,
Like, you
start another
get
business.
you could get fired from your job tomorrow. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They have no more stability than I do. It's just a different, it's a perceived stability. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And another thing too, sometimes people with the it's complicated, is there's so many steps involved to something that people get overwhelmed and they start shutting down. But it's like if you have a 20 step thing you have to do, you do step one, and then you do step two, and then you do step three. You can't look at 20 steps. You can't do 20 steps. You can only do one step. And a
Mhm.
lot of that was with the business, right? Because it's like you need this license to get this license, and you need a location in order to get a business license, and all these little steps. But I just literally broke it down at one step at a time. It's like, okay, I need this first. So I acquired it. And then it's like, okay, this is the next thing that needs to happen. So I did it. And you just cannot look, you just can't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Everything is doable step by step.
Right. And the thing is that um, as a small business owner myself, oftentimes, you put all these plans in place and it doesn't work out that way. You get to step three, and all of a sudden now you've been hit with a curveball or something didn't fall into line the way that you thought it was going to. And now all of a sudden steps 5 through 10 are completely out the window because you need to re-engineer step four. A prime example of that is COVID. I mean, good grief. Hats off to businesses that survived that. You're right. One step at a time, and just if you can see the next step, just take that. And I've found more often than not, the bricks just tend to fall into place. And even if it doesn't work out exactly the way that you thought it was going to work out, you've learned a lot. I mean, that's the way you learn and you grow. So,
I think one of the best things that ever happened to me was being the general manager of a restaurant during COVID. I started my new position in January of 2020. And then
the
by
world was shut down by March.
yes, and then we reopened with no contact of nobody coming inside. And before we were 100% that way. There was no, we didn't do online ordering, we didn't do phone orders. It was you had to come in, and then we had to switch to the complete opposite. And it'd be so funny. We'd have this whole plan and we'd make up signs and posts and all of this. And then in a week later, they would change something and we had to toss it and do something totally new. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It taught me how to pivot. My initial plan when I opened my food truck was to have several food trucks along the South Coast, and each food truck's portion of their sales was going to be donated to a shelter of that town. But then I opened a food truck and I realized all the difficulties that come from having a food truck, and realized that was not what I wanted. And we pivoted and went a different direction while still holding the same business concept. You know what I mean? But it was just
Mhm.
one of those, or I could have just been like, no, this was the plan. This is what we were going to do. But I was like, nope, trash that.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, pivoting, you have to be able to pivot if you own a business.
for sure. I mean, 100%. You just never know what's going to come your way. And I think that's, I guess two nuggets to take away from all this. Get real good at pivoting, and don't be so, be comfortable with just making decisions. And if it doesn't work out, okay, we'll go and do something else, because you could very easily talk yourself out of so much. And I suspect that the bigger message that those folks that have been interviewed try to relay is just go do it. Just
Yeah.
go try it. Don't let the world talk you out of it, because you'll be filled with regret. And
Especially to ask yourself who these people are that are talking you out of it, right? It's like, what? I'm not trying to be rude right now, but it's like, who are you to tell me that I can't do this? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, what have you done? What have you know what I mean? How are you the end all be all? Do you have a crystal ball? Do you know
Mhm.
what the future of this is going to shake out to? They don't. Now, don't be crazy. Do things within your limits. I mean, if you've never perished skydived once in your life, maybe don't immediately open a skydiving business. But I mean, like, if you've done your due diligence and your research and you really think you can do it, I say do it. Go for it.
Yeah, yeah. Follow your dream. It's
Yeah.
all we got one life. I have absolutely over the last number of years, I would say probably 5 or 10 years too late, but the older I get, the more I am digging my heels into that idea of just, try to live with the lowest amount of regrets because we only got one time. So
Yep. It's short. Man, it goes by so quick.
it sure does. And the older you get, the faster time goes. It's wild. It's a wild phenomenon. I don't know. That 3 weeks ago we were just doing Christmas. We're now on the fourth.
Yeah.
The 4th of July is 2 weeks away. So it goes by way too fast. But and what has also gone by way too fast is this conversation, which I have enjoyed immensely. Thank you so much for
Thank you
spending
so
this
much.
time with me. Um, I am going to spend more time in your cafe because I love your mission. I love what you're doing in the community. You make
Thanks.
an amazing dragon fruit iced tea, by the way. So that'll be on the docket. And I just got to get there before 3 because that's when you're
Yeah,
close. So
I know.
that is now like solidified into my brain because for whatever reason I had a brain cramp about that. But um, and to anyone listening, stop by, check out their menu. They always got something new on the menu. They always
We
have
do. Always changing special drinks. That's a fact.
yeah. So well, thank you again, and I'll definitely be stopping into your shop soon again.
Oh, do you mind if I shout out some store hours real quick?
No, not at all.
I
Please
forgot,
do.
forgot to do that. So we are open Wednesday through Saturday from 6 a.m. till 3 p.m. We're open Sunday and Monday from 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. We are closed on Tuesdays, and it is 414 Main Street in Fairhaven. Look for the bright blue door.
And throw your social media handles out there so that folks can follow you on social.
Absolutely. Our social media on Instagram and Facebook is at Rescue Cafe. We also do have a website that we very recently just launched, and that is therescuecafe.com. And that has our hours, our location, upcoming events, artist of the month, and our specials of the month, all on our website.
So much great information, and I hope people like and follow your pages and follow you around town this summer because it sounds like
Yeah,
you're going to be out and about. So
yeah, it'll be fun. It's back to our food truck roots. You know what I mean?
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
No,
with that. Well, listen, thank you again for spending this time with me, and I'll be in your shop soon.
can't wait to see you.